Cabinet drawers and door faces are all done.
Trying to find some balance in my life.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Christine's channel. So we made a lot of progress over the past few weeks. In particular, we finished up the closet doors, the drawer in there, finished up the shower, got that all sealed up. It's fully functional now, got the doors on, so forth. Now we're moving on to some more of the interior things, in particular some cabinet doors and some of the drawers and drawer faces that we need on the inside. Now the under sink cabinet has been done for a while, the sliders in there and so forth. We just haven't put doors on it. Same with the spice rack, it's been done, we just haven't put a face on it. So these are fairly simple in the fact that we've already got the main part of the cabinet itself built. We're just facing them now. So we're using the Barnwood for that again, and basically cutting those out, putting in the hinges, and then putting acrylic on them and putting them all up. So let's show you where we're at. Here's what we're working on today. Quite a bit right in here on this space here. Now, we've had this cabinet built and done here for quite a while, and it has the built-in sliders in it, so we can get in then and get to our toiletries a little bit easier. But we've never put doors on it, so I've made the door faces. I've actually tried a couple different hinges, finding out that these Euro hinges work best for what we need here, so it steps away so I can get a nice good gap there, so it's not too big of a gap when the doors close. Also, we've had the spice rack in. Right now we just got general storage in there, but the spice rack itself has never had a face on it, so I'm going to make that. And then put a drawer down here. You can see I've already started again. One of the Blum kits there, and I've built the drawer for it. Now we got to put a face on it. Obviously this needs a front face piece, and then a door for where the trash goes. Since I was making doors, I decided to make a couple here for underneath the sink. Since that's already done, we're having to hold it closed with a bungee cord to keep the trays from sliding out. I figured I might as well do these. Now I'm switching it up a little bit. I changed hinges. This is the hinge I'm using here. And the reason I did that is when I saw the measurements for it, this opening here is right at about a ½ inch, so I should be able to mount it directly to the extruded aluminum. Now I'm going to have to make this hole in there where the bolt would go through a ½ inch, and then get rid of what would be, what's supposed to go on the frame here. Take these and just file them down. Then I think I'll be able to bolt this straight onto the extruded aluminum, which would be a nice way to attach it instead of trying to screw it in. It'd be much more solid. So I'm going to try to modify this and see how that works. And here are the drawer faces. Actually, these are two doors. That's a drawer face for the sliding vertical drawer we have, the spice rack and so forth. We don't use it for spices, but that's what it's made for. And then a block off piece. I just coated them with polyacrylic, and now they are drying. We do 5 coats of the polyacrylic. The first coat I do very heavy to kind of fill in some of the grooves, and then the other coats are a little bit smaller. About an hour in between coats. We've got them now acrylic and ready to go in, so we're gonna mount those and see what they look like. And here are the doors on. I don't have any handles or latches in it yet, but they came out really nice. Here is the face on the slider here. Now we're gonna put on this face, then I gotta build that door. I'm working on the drawer face here. Again, used one of the Blum LEGRABOXes here. I like these. This is obviously only the second one I put together. I've never used them before, but they really are pretty straightforward. I showed you on the other video, but basically you make a bottom and a back. You have to, cut out, notch that. So use your router and notch that so it can fit in. And then the back goes into these little connections, and then it clicks together. I did add this, not that you have to, but I only did because when I cut this one, I cut it a little short, and that was the last piece I had right now, so I just made that to fill that gap in. The front then has these little clips. It just clips right in there. Again, it's a pretty neat little system. So I am going to build the face. The only problem I have with the face here is this opening is more than 12 inches, and all of the Barnwood I have, the maximum it is 12 inches. These pieces here are 12 inches wide. That's the maximum. So I'm going to have to put 2 together to make that work. I've got a couple pieces cut here now. What I'm going to do is rip these down and then join them together using some biscuit joiners and some wood glue. Well, I've got the pieces cut down now here and joined together. Like I said, I used a little biscuit joiner, and then there's little biscuits here, some wood glue, and then put it together. Now I've got it all clamped together. I've got it weighted down and clamped down so that way it doesn't want to warp any. It makes this connection as tight as possible. But now it's all put together. We just wait for it to dry overnight. Start working on it tomorrow. Okay, start unclamping this here and seeing how everything turned out. See how much it glued to the table. Oh, it did not very much. I figured I'd get quite a bit of glue out of there. You can see this is actually a piece that I'd cut for a door. I put the hinges in it, but it didn't end up fitting quite right. I cut it a little skinny, so I've repurposed it now for this drawer face. And glued together nicely. There's the joint, obviously. This is what the door is held onto in the LEGRABOX. Basically, these are mounted onto the other side, and then they click in. I built this, so this is going to be the bottom. So this will actually go across that joint, which will then give it some structure, so it'll be held in top and bottom where across that joint there. If I have to strengthen this joint, I can actually on the other side put something across in between these two pieces. Hopefully with the wood glue and the biscuits, and then these mounted, it'll be plenty to hold that and keep this nice and sturdy. All right, we'll go ahead and get this mounted, and then we're gonna have to get this put in acrylic. Here's the brackets. These actually clip into the door, so these need to be mounted like so. What I've done on the door then is I've measured out on the door box itself where these tabs are. Now I'm going to use this then to line up where to drill the holes themselves in here. Obviously then this just gets mounted and screwed in place and should be able to button that right in. Measured out here on the other side. I've trimmed the door down to the exact right width. Now we're going to get these mounted. And this is then how they will get drilled out. Screwed in place. And there is the panel now. The way this goes in, it's just pretty straightforward. It clips into the bottom and then you flop it up, clicks in. If you need to remove it, this is the release. It's a T20. You can then twist that and it releases the front door, which is what I'm going to do next because I got to put acrylic on it. And here's how the drawer fits in here. You can see it just has the 2 pins, and you put them in the bottom one first. So line this up like so. Oops. There you go. And then the drawer has to be a little adjusted to get that top one then to fit. You get the bottom one in all the way, and then the top one, when you get it lined up right, snaps into place. And that's it. That's how the drawer face goes on. Here is the latches, the slam latch that we're using. I bought these off of Amazon. There are a number of them on Amazon. If you do stainless steel, marine, slam latch, you'll get all kinds of them. These had fairly good reviews, 4.2. The #1 complaint on these was that the screws were too short. In particular, so also with these, one of the reasons we bought these is they have 2 ways to mount it. And then one is for a panel that is skinnier, so up to a 1/2 inch. The other is a 1/2 to 3/4. Our panels are 3/4, so not all of these work. This one is allowed to mount it at a bigger panel, which is when the screws are too small. So I expected that, and that's what ended up happening. So I had to replace those. But let me show you what we've got here. So here is the latch itself. It comes then with a mounting plate and then a backing plate. So here's the latch, okay? If you take these screws out, you will see how it has two different mounting ways. If I can get that out without a screwdriver, I think I can. All right, let's grab a screwdriver. So it has this plate here, which would be for thinner panels up to a 1/2 inch. This plate then is what you use if you're using 1/2 inch or bigger, okay? So you can see the difference there. This plate mounts all the way closed. This plate here, like so. So if you have a panel though that is as thick as this, as the whole lock is, these are not deep enough then to grab a hold of there. You can't mount a full 3/4 inch panel and have these match. So I had to buy new screws for it, and these are just M5 0.8 pitch, so they're easily found all kinds of places. Found some stainless steel replacements, and then like so. Now some of my panels are this full thickness, so then this part of the mount gets in the way of the latch a little bit. So I've been cutting this off flush here. It still mounts fine. It just doesn't hold it 360. It just holds it around the bottom there. I cut this part off, but that leaves then a bigger opening for the latch here. That's only on the few of the panels that are extra thick. And we obviously haven't used them very much, but they go in nice. They look like they're decent construction. And again, there's all kinds of these on Amazon. Basically, again, just watch your panel thickness size, whether it's this type of mounting only, or whether it's something that you can then mount it to a thicker panel like this. And this one happened to have both, except for the screws don't work for both, so you have to buy new screws if you want to mount it thick like we are. The other thing then, they give you the little latch plate here. There's actually two in here because I've already used one of these latches out of the box here. Now, I'm not using these though, and that's because with the extruded aluminum, let me grab a piece of that. With the extruded aluminum here, this will not mount and be flush up here where it needs to be. You can see those won't line up. Now, if this were wood and you could just then screw it in wherever you wanted to, that would be just fine. And for the closets, because the closets have the wood liner, that worked out okay. But for the rest of the cabinets, it's all extruded aluminum, so that does not fit. So what I'm using instead is just a little bit of angle, okay? Small angle here, and you can see it's just, you know, thin aluminum angle stock. I'm cutting it off. I'm just drilling holes in it here so that way it can mount like so and be closer to the edge. Some of them I like to mount the latch high enough that you don't need this full width here because this just hangs down in the cabinet a lot, and then we're notching that off. I'll show you here on this one of these when I get it made what it ends up looking like at the end, but basically I just cut it here, drill 2 holes on this end of it because it's not a full 1 inch wide, it's only 3/4 of an inch, and that way it'll mount to the extruded aluminum, and then this is your latch catch. Cabinet drawers and door faces are all done. Have to stain the bottoms of the drawers still. That is the last. This drawer's not here yet, so as soon as that comes in next week, we will fit that. They will all be done. All the drawers are all done now. And there's a little short one here. Finishes out the top. Our biggest one is here. And then obviously the pull-out spice rack. And then on here. And these slide in and out. Another big one here. And then lastly, our cabinet here, which is where we keep our trash. And then the closet here. The drawer. And then lastly for the toilet. That's it. All the lower cabinets. The upper cabinet here has been done. I'm still going to add, now that I have the slam latches, that's the last thing to do, is add one latch there.